Here is a question that should both terrify you and amaze you. What if, in a single human lifetime, we built a mind greater than our own, and we did it almost by accident? You are watching it happen right now, and the people who built it are no longer sure they can control it. For 3,000 years, we dreamed of building minds, gods of clay, men of bronze, machines that could think. For almost all of history, it stayed a fantasy. And then, in a single human lifetime, we did it. This is the story of how we built our gods. It began with a question. In 1950, a British mathematician named Alan Turing asked the unthinkable. Can a machine think? He designed a test. If a machine could fool you into believing it was human, did the difference even matter? Turing did not build the machine. He built the idea that someone could. 6 years later, a handful of scientists gathered at Dartmouth College for a summer project. They believed they could crack human intelligence in a few months. They were wrong by about 70 years, but they gave the dream a name that would change the world. Artificial intelligence. In 1958, a machine called the perceptron learned to tell shapes apart, not by being programmed, but by example. Newspapers called it the embryo of an electronic brain. The age of optimism had begun. But long before machines could see, one learned to listen. In 1966, a simple program called ELIZA imitated a therapist, echoing people's own words back to them as questions. It understood nothing at all, and yet people poured out their hearts to it, and some refused to believe it was only a machine. It was the first glimpse of a strange and very human truth. We are so desperate to be understood that we will find a mind, even in a mirror. But the brain did not come. The machines were too slow, the data too small, the promises far too big. Governments pulled their money. Labs went dark, not once, but twice. History remembers them as the AI winters, long, cold decades when the dream nearly froze to death. A lesser idea would have died there. This one waited. Through the cold, a few refused to quit. In 1986, they perfected a way for a network to learn from its own mistakes. Backpropagation. It let a machine adjust itself, layer by layer, a little closer to right every time. It was slow, it was quiet, and it was the seed of everything that came next. Then, in 1997, the world watched a machine named Deep Blue defeat the greatest chess player alive. For the first time, a computer had beaten a human at something we proudly called genius. People were shaken. Almost no one understood. This was not the end of anything. It was the very beginning. The real explosion came when three forces collided. Oceans of data from the internet, the raw power of gaming chips, and an old, doubted idea: deep learning. In 2012, a single neural network shattered every record at recognizing images, by a margin no one believed possible. The giants of technology felt the ground move. The race had begun. In 2016, an AI called AlphaGo did what experts had called impossible for another decade. It mastered Go, a game with more possible positions than there are atoms in the universe. And in one match, it played a move so alien, so beautiful, that the human champion stood up and left the room. The machines were no longer only calculating. They had begun, in their own way, to create. Then came the idea that changed everything. In 2017, a small team published a paper with a quiet title, "Attention is all you need." It introduced the Transformer, the architecture beneath nearly every AI you have heard of since. It was the single spark that lit the fire we are living in now. things their makers never directly taught them. In 2014, a new design set two networks against each other, one inventing, one judging, until a machine could conjure the faces of people who had never existed. For the first time, an AI could imagine, and not everything it imagined was true. Then it turned its eyes to the real world's deepest secrets. In 2020, an AI called AlphaFold cracked a problem that had defeated biology for 50 years, predicting the shapes of the proteins that build all life and accelerating the search for new medicine. The machines were no longer only playing our games. They had begun to do our science. And somewhere in those years, a quiet fear took root. Some of the very people who built these systems began to warn the world because they understood what was coming better than anyone. They had chased a dream their whole lives, and now, for the first time, they were afraid of catching it. For years it grew in the dark, fed on almost everything humanity had ever written. And then, in November 2022, it spoke. A program called ChatGPT reached 100 million people faster than any product in human history. Overnight, the whole world understood at once. This was no longer science fiction. It was here, and it was talking back. At first, the most powerful systems were locked away inside a handful of companies. But the dam did not hold. The code was set free. Open models, released to the world, put the raw power of frontier intelligence into the hands of millions. Students, startups, and quiet builders in small countries no one expected. And the machines kept changing shape. They learned to write code, to use tools, to browse, to act. They stopped only answering questions and began to take steps on their own. The newest of them learned to pause and to reason, thinking through a problem before they spoke, the way a person might. Each year, the line between a tool and a mind grew thinner, and the pace did not slow. It only accelerated. By 2025, the loudest warnings were coming from inside the building. The head of Anthropic, one of the companies racing fastest of all, compared building this technology to building the atomic bomb. He said, no single person should ever sit at the center of that kind of power. Governments were listening. In Washington, leaders began to treat these laboratories the way they once treated weapons programs, a matter of national security, watched, pressured, and held responsible for whatever they unleash. The race to build a mind had become a matter of state.
Everything, right? There needs to be a balance of power here, right? There's a lot of powerful actors who have interests here.
We have a situation with Anthropic, and we didn't like what they were doing. And so far, I think that
today, the most powerful companies on Earth are pouring hundreds of billions of dollars into one goal: to build a mind greater than our own. OpenAI, Google, NVIDIA, Anthropic, Meta, and Elon Musk. They call the goal AGI, a machine that can do anything a human can do. Some call it the greatest invention in history. Some call it the most dangerous race we have ever run. And no one truly knows what happens the day it arrives. We are the first generation to share this planet with a new kind of mind. The old question, can machines think, is already answered. The new one is harder. What happens when they think better than we do? The giants are building the future, but the future was never decided by giants alone. Somewhere, in a small studio, in a country smaller than their server farms, one person and one small machine are watching it all and asking the only question that still matters. Not what artificial intelligence can do to us, but what we will choose to do with it. This is the history of how we built our gods. The next chapter is ours.